Thank you all for being here today and for your support of Minnesota's charitable gambling organizations and the communities we serve. I'm Amanda Jackson with the Spring Lake Park Lions, and I'm the president of Allied Charities. I also want to specifically thank Representative Jim Nash and Senator Zach Duckworth for authorizing HF 4090 and SF 4515 and for recognizing the importance of preserving one of Minnesota's most unique charitable traditions, the meat raffle. Meat raffles are part of Minnesota's culture. They happen in small towns, suburban communities, and throughout the metro area. They bring people together, support local businesses, and most importantly, raise critical funds for charities, veteran groups, youth sports, fire relief associations, and community nonprofits across our state. At its core, a meat raffle is simple. Players purchase a small dollar ticket for a chance to win packages of meat, seafood, or gift cards purchased locally from neighborhood butcher shops and grocery stores. These are modest, community-based events that create fellowship while helping charitable organizations continue their missions. But the reality is the law governing meat raffles has not been kept up with the times. The current $70 prize limit and $2 tickets were established more than 30 years ago and have never been adjusted for inflation. Since then, the cost of meat, labor, and operating expenses has risen dramatically. What once bought a substantial and exciting prize package now buys far less. Organizations are struggling to offer prizes that generate excitement and participation while staying within outdated statutory limits. And when participation drops, charitable fundraising drops with it. HF 4090 and SF 4515 provide a common sense update that allows charitable organizations to continue operating successful meat raffles in today's economy. This bill is not about expanding gambling. It is about modernizing an existing charitable fundraising tool so it can remain viable for the future. These events support local bars and restaurants, generate additional charitable gambling activity like pull tabs, and help community nonprofits continue serving their missions. This is a unique opportunity for legislators from both sides of the aisle to pass a bill and support Minnesota charities. We urge legislators to pass this legislation and keep this Minnesota tradition strong for generations to come. Thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is State Representative Jim Nash. I serve in District 48A, Central Carver County, and I'm the author in the House of a wildly popular bill. It sailed through every committee stop that we brought it through. There was never one no vote, and actually when I brought the bill, a lot of other people began clamoring to get onto the bill with me. I think we have a full jacket, 35 authors. And here's what I will tell you. As we're moving the bill along, I worked with the Associated Press to do a story about what is a meat raffle and why do we need to update it. I then began to get overwhelmed with inquiries from every major city across the entire state. The story made it all the way to Taipei as well. They were asking what the heck is a meat raffle, but what does the meat raffle do is where I really want to land my message for you today. The charities that are associated with a meat raffle are doing things to help soccer programs, youth sports in all flavors. One in Waconia has sent people on an honor flight to Washington, D.C. These help everyday Minnesotans do those extra little things that a charitable association can do to help them out. It is about building community. It is about investing in the community. And what I am asking is to not hold this bill up in exchange for something that is the owner of a little more controversy. This is a completely non-controversial bill. And to play politics with this is just so unfortunate and so un-Minnesotan. This is not what we do. We do not try to associate something that is wildly popular with something that has some controversy and try to cut a deal. What we are asking is for the DFL leadership in the House to just put this on the floor, let it get voted off. It'll be a straight green board. I can't imagine that it wouldn't. And let the charities in the state of Minnesota do what they have been doing for years, but make it more interesting for the people who participate and make it more beneficial for the communities that they are serving. I did some work with the Allied Charities, and I found out that in Carver County alone, the last calendar year, charitable associations like the ones that we've talked about put $1 million into Carver County. $1 million. We are just simply asking that this simple bill be put into law to make it so that those associations can invest further in our community. And you know, if you read the story, we had a great time that night. We sat around and we talked with people who are from my community. They would stop by, and we had a fantastic time. That's what this is about. It's not about gambling, it's about community, and it's about investing in the community that we serve. So thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Tim Engstrom. I'm with the American Legion Post 550 in Bloomington. I'm the gambling manager there. We support, we don't have, not all the legions in the state have a bar or restaurant. Ours is one that does not, but we do charitable gambling in some establishments in the city of Bloomington. And with the funds that we raise, we support various different Legion programs, whether it's struggling veterans. We support Legion Baseball. We support the Bloomington Kennedy Activities Foundation, as well as various different youth programs in the community. When the amazing show choir at Kennedy High School suddenly had to go to nationals, they needed to raise money, you know, and this is not, you know, the Kennedy area is not the type of place that has the parents that can just whip out the paychecks, whip out the checkbooks. So we donated $10,000 toward their cause so they could go to Branson, and guess what? They got second place. So this is the value of having charitable gambling in your community that can raise money to help get it out there. We're hoping to help the city with its animal shelter infrastructure in the coming year or two. And right now the meat raffle is one of the things that draws people in. Our Bloomington Legion Baseball program is the people who run the meat raffle at the sports page in Bloomington, but it also draws other customers in, and they'll play the pull tabs and the e-tabs, so it kind of is good for all the different programs by having meat raffle. It's good for the establishment as well because it draws business. So, and I just want to remind you that there's 191 licensed American Legions across the state of Minnesota, and I don't know how many VFWs, but I know Barry from the VFW, and I know that he would agree with my thoughts that, you know, we're helping struggling veterans, but we're also helping the community at large because we want to help the communities that the veterans live in to be better. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Adams, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm with the Coon Rapids Matt Bandit Wrestling Club, and I've been the gambling manager for almost 30 years. Like many youth sports organizations across Minnesota, and I believe there's roughly about 1,100 to 1,200 organizations out there, we depend upon fundraising to support opportunities for young athletes. I remember when I was a kid, my parents struggled to get me to tournaments, and I know I had some missed opportunities. Our program supports kids, and that's what this is all about, is helping kids. And I don't think that the state legislature should have any problem whatsoever. This is a common sense issue, that to help kids in the state of Minnesota participate in athletics or other beneficial programs in their respective communities, it's a no-brainer. It's common sense. Meat raffles are a Minnesota tradition, but more importantly, they're an important fundraising opportunity to help organizations in each community. It helps keep costs affordable and for families to provide opportunities for kids to participate statewide. The money raised through these events helps cover things like tournament fees, equipment, travel costs, facility expenses, scholarships. I know our program, we give scholarships, a lot of scholarships, and for college. So when kids graduate from Coon Rapids High School, in our program, we can help them transition into the next level of education. The problem with the rules of governing meat raffles and the is that the restrictions currently in law were put in place almost 30 years ago, way too long ago. And they simply do not reflect the current costs and the market realities. The Meat Raffle Modernization Act is a modest common sense update It's a common sense update that I think all state legislatures should support. It simply updates outdated limits to charitable organizations so that they can continue to raise funds effectively and efficiently. For organizations like the Coon Rapids Mat Bandits, this is not about profit. Again, it's about sustaining opportunities for young athletes or kids in the community, building teamwork, discipline, and keeping community-based youth sports strong. Every dollar raised stays local and goes back into the communities and into our programs that benefit Minnesota kids and families. We appreciate the bipartisan support this proposal has received and respectfully ask legislatures to move the bill forward and give it a clean vote this session. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Senator Judy Seeberger, District 41, which encompasses communities on the east side of the metro. I'm here to support my good friend and colleague, Senator Duckworth, on this bill. This is a common sense solution that will benefit Minnesota communities, charitable gambling, and as you heard it, kids across the state of Minnesota. It's unfortunate that we are having the trouble that we are getting this across the finish line. This has wide support in the Senate. Unfortunately, we saw it fail in conference committee just this week. So it's my hope that we can get this unstuck, do the good work that we need to do, make this common sense change, and support the members of our community who rely on a meat raffle, not only for fundraising, but for a good time. So happy to be here to support it.
I'll be quick because everything's pretty much already been covered, but I'll start off by saying this. Meat raffles, pull tabs, beer, steak, given to charities. I'm not sure there's anything more American. So that's why I think this bill is as popular and bipartisan as it is. We'd love to see it get across the finish line this session. It's not something that should kind of go to hang out in legislative purgatory, not to be passed. I do want to thank Senator Seeberger for being here, for being a co-author on the bill in the Senate. She has been a tremendous help in trying to build the bipartisan coalition and support to keep this bill moving forward. Just a few minutes ago, we actually did a procedural move to bring the bill straight to the Senate floor, so it's now positioned for a vote if we can get there. There's still a lot to be done over the next few days, but we're going to keep working together, Republican and Democrat, on this bill to push it forward and tee it up for our friends in the House, where they can hopefully do the same, Republicans and Democrats coming together on behalf of their communities, on behalf of our charities, and on behalf of people who just want to have a really good time. So thank you all for your support. We're going to keep at it, and I will turn it back over to whoever would like to go next.
All right, you got it. So we have a mock meat raffle set up, and we were going to go ahead and pass out some tickets, and if we have any questions, we can answer in the meantime. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Sorry, I apologize, I haven't seen the bill. In one line or so, could you tell me, I assume this extends the limits to what you guys are
Yeah,
able
so
to?
it is literally the smallest bill I've ever read. What is it, a paragraph maybe? Two lines, not even a full paragraph. And it just basically expands the cost that we can charge per meat raffle up to $5. So it's not eliminating a $1 or a $2 raffle that's currently legal. It's just expanding that, and then it also expands the prize limits from currently $70 up to $200.
Other questions for legislators? I know some have to leave.
Yeah, if the bill doesn't pass, what sort of effect will this have on the charities, and how quickly would this affect charities?
I'll just say, and then I have to head out to a committee, there's no reason for this not to happen. And the gamesmanship that's being played is going to prevent investment in communities. So our charities are doing a fantastic job right now in doing everything they can with a maximum cap of $70. To put it to $200, which is where the bill brings it, allows them to invest heavily in those youth sports, the honor flights, helping veterans in need, building community. I mean, my colleagues in the Senate have told you the same thing that I have. This is an investment in the communities that we all serve here. No one is opposed to that. The sad part is the opposition is to hold it up, to use it as a chip for something else. And that is just not what I signed up for as a legislator. I don't think my colleagues signed up for that as a legislator. We're here to do good bills for good outcomes, to help people in our communities, not to play games.
Unless it's a meat raffle.
And
Well, that's it, yeah.
And to further answer your question is, I feel like, you know, the $2 and $70 amounts were set in 1978. And so you can imagine the quality of the meat that would be involved with the meat raffle would be better, and thus attendance at the meat raffles would return to what they used to be, and maybe even better. So that's what we're going for, which then helps all the programs.
Yeah, and if I can add, with our mock meat raffle, we do have some actual meat to win. But back when I used to sell meat packs on a Friday night, used to be able to get 2 or 3 ribeyes, and this is kind of a replica of what, you know, this is what a $20 pack of meat buys now. And oftentimes, if we want, this is just labeled grill steaks, but oftentimes if we want a ribeye or a T-bone steak, you're just gonna see one thin steak for $20. So my hope is with this bill that we can get back to 15 years ago when somebody could come in and win a meat raffle and grill up something they're very proud of, which would be a couple of ribeyes or T-bones. Right now, they're taking a T-bone and having to split it with their wife or husband. So we want to get back to how they used to be. And with this bill, we definitely will be able to. So any other questions?
Does it mean, since you're pushing this bill, that in conference committee, you don't believe there's a path forward at this point?
First, I gotta see this thing right here. I mean, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what does. We purposely scheduled this press conference just before noon, so for a reason. To answer your question, it was actually a bipartisan effort in that conference committee. There were Republicans and Democrats that voted to add it to that, but based on how conference committees work, it ultimately wasn't added to it. I think to answer your question, that specific committee report has been left open. If we can come to some sort of agreement or get people on board, perhaps that language could get added to that conference committee report and thus pass and become law that way, or it could be the traditional route where both the House, the Senate pass it, have a conversation if they need to in conference committee, and ultimately make it law that way. What we're trying to do, and why we did what we did this morning, was to give it keep it alive and give it another path potentially if for some reason that conference committee report doesn't become a viable path for it. It's so important that Judy and I and others are exhausting every measure we can to explore every possible avenue to seeing a great bipartisan bill and initiative pass on behalf of the people of Minnesota. I'm going to take this with me. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that same day?
Any others, or do you want to do a quick
Yeah.
demonstration?
Yeah, so we have some tickets to pass out. Oh, they're already passed out. Awesome, great,
I didn't get
okay.
a ticket.
You're too busy. You're too busy.
Gambling managers always.
Yeah, they always get the jar start, okay. So we're going to, this is the wheel that we would normally use, no, we're not spinning it. This is a wheel that we would normally use for a meat raffle, but since we're at the Capitol, we're not using legal gambling equipment, so we're gonna use something else here. Another law we need to fix, yes. And we have winner number 12.
Yay!
So you get to go over there and pick your meat.
I'll let my wife
Which
do
we
it.
have, we'll just spin a couple more times without doing more tickets. So also number 7 wins.
Number 7.
Normally, right, yeah. Yeah,
Up towards the campus.
Okay.
See that. If
you
want
bet.
more time.
Normally, we would pass out tickets each round, but we're trying to save a little bit of time. Number 21. Awesome. So yeah, our meat raffles always generate a good crowd and are popular in our communities, and it's a win-win for charities, bar owners, and our local meat markets. So we're really hopeful to get this bill passed to the finish line, and we're very thankful for our hardworking authors that have done so well to get this in the media and gain so much support. So we're real hopeful that in the near future we'll be giving away 3 ribeyes in a pack. So thank you again for being here.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you all. Thanks, Judy. Might be the most fun I've had.